but I thank you all for coming out. These are the ladies in my life. My wife, Kristen. This is Emma, Patty, and Lily. And I'll tell you, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I'm running for this office. But sitting right here is probably the most important reason. Because I do wonder what this world's going to look like, what this country will look like in 15 years. I mean, are we going to have equal pay for equal work? I mean, they don't understand any of this stuff. We're talking way over their heads right now. But
maybe not.
I mean, you know, they heard what Emily said about who you're going to vote for. I'll vote for who my husband tells me to vote for. Are they going to get paid equal pay? I mean, they say it's 77 cents to the dollar for what a man gets. I don't want them to know that. Are we going to have the same fights that we thought we fought 40 years ago? Equal pay for equal work. I mean, equal pay for protecting a woman's right to choose. I mean, these are fights that I don't want them to be worried about. And I've been on the campaign trail. We've talked a lot about all the different issues, and there's not a whole lot of differences between the 7 candidates. But this is a big issue. You know, women make up such a large percentage of the electorate. They live longer than men. 60% of the voters will likely be women. And this is a message that women need to know. The issues are very, very important in this race. And I think the distinction that I bring, and I've brought out in the last few debates between the front runner, Don Beyer, and me, I mean, every candidate that's running is certainly capable and qualified to be a member of Congress, and they're good Democrats. But my friend Don Beyer and I, we differ on some issues that are relevant to women. And the big issue has to be what he calls his crowning achievement is welfare reform. And everyone knows that in welfare reform, if you have a mandate for someone to go to work, we're talking about the majority of low-income women and their children. What's the one thing that a woman needs in order to go to work?
Childcare.
They need child care assistance. And we created a welfare law that's Don's crowning achievement that doesn't have that mandate to have child care assistance. And as a result, we got Fairfax. In Fairfax County, we have 4,000 kids today waiting on the waiting list. We've created a new generation of latchkey kids. There was a story in the New York Times not that long ago that talked about a child that was going home on the bus that would go through cycles from elementary school to middle school to high school to stay longer on the bus just because they didn't have anywhere to go after child care assistance. Now, Arlington and Alexandria do a good job of putting more resources on the table. And there was another provision in the welfare reform that I've brought out that I think needs to be responded to, is that if you have a child while you're on welfare, that child is deemed to be ineligible for benefits. Okay. And we're only punishing the children. And I think that is the major distinction between us. I mean, we're different kinds of Democrats, and why it all matters to you is that there will likely be a grand bargain in the next Congress or the next presidential administration. And that's going to include potential cuts to Medicare and Social Security beneficiaries, and also the withering of our safety net. I will never compromise our safety net. And that is the major difference between us. And the safety net matters more to women than anyone else out there. The women, their children are impacted. And so I think there is differences between us. I think this is the major difference between us and all the candidates. And I want you to know how much I'm so pleased that you all are here in support of this. But women ought to know the differences with what the candidates offer. And I want to thank everyone for coming out today. And I'm on the mend now. I will be out knocking on doors this weekend. I'm confident of it, because I'll get better on June the 11th. Because it's that important that we get the message out and that we talk to people. And my good friend Chuck Peterson once told me, talk to as many people as you can. And that's what I'm going to do in this campaign. we can rest on June 11th, but I'm not going to be sidelined for very long. So again, I want to thank you all for coming out. This was a really nice gathering on such a dreary day, but thank you all for coming out today.